Alright guys, welcome back to the market view video. So we'll discuss the levels for Nifty, Banknifty and the other sectoral indices in this video. So let's get started. Also, if you missed out on the swing trading setup part 2 and part 1, you can watch it on my channel. I'm sure it will help you out massively. Alright. So what we'll do is we'll start with the Nifty and Banknifty levels. All right. So first, let's talk about Nifty. All right. And when I'm talking about Nifty, I'm always referring to the India 50 USD chart, and I'll also open up the US indices. Right. Mostly the S&P 500. All right. So if you see here on the daily chart of India 50 USD, for those who don't know what India 50 is, it's basically like SGX Nifty, but the data is not delayed on TradingView. SGX Nifty data is delayed on TradingView, so you cannot really use the chart in live time. All right. So in the chart of Nifty, if you see there are a cluster of demand zones here, right? If you see all these wicks together, right? This entire base was built to take out this supply. All right, this supply right here, which led to this new low. All right. So this entire base here was built to take out this supply, which made the low into this previous demand somewhere back in August 2021. All right. So we had a sharp rally from there. All right, we took out these supplies as well. We took out these supplies using these freshly made demand zones. All right, and we tested out the highest supply right here. Right, from that point on, if you see, these demand zones have been broken. All right, you see there have been rejections as well. You see these upper wicks, there have been rejections, but ultimately they got broken because of the global market weakness as well. And now we are trading around this demand zone right here. So let's just see how this looks on the Nifty spot chart. All right. So Nifty spot, if you see, this is the demand zone which was there on the India 50 chart, right? So if you see right now, even after Friday's big red candle or big bearish candle here, we are still very far from this demand actually, right? We're still very far from this demand, and we are testing out these intermediate demand zones inside this broader kind of a range structure which we're building up here, right? So inside this range, we have these small demand zones, and we also have this bigger one right here, right? So what is the plan of action on Nifty? If you see, Nifty is actually still not in a bearish structure at all right? So the bearish structure was here, right? Now, if you see the base which led to the last low on the hourly chart, this is the hourly chart. So the base which led to the last low is this one. All right, this is the base, and this base got absorbed by this zone right here. Mostly, I mean, you see this reaction as well, so that's very minute. But still, this demand zone led to this base being taken out, and we got a rally up here. Again, we come down to this base, and again we start forming some sort of an uptrending structure here. So if you see, Nifty is actually building up these higher lows on the chart, right? These higher lows on the chart. The only problem here is, as soon as we try to stage some rally, we immediately get rejected by the supply zone very fast. All right, it's never good to see such a sharp rejection, especially when you're already downtrending and you're trying to break out into new highs, and you see such a sharp rejection from a supply which is way up. All right, so here what can happen is, on Monday, if we open, so for the levels, I'll just mark the zones as well, so that you can follow. So this is my first area of reference in Nifty. All right, so on Monday, if we open below this, then do not do anything. All right, do not do anything if you open below this zone, because if you see, we've already fallen very far from this high right here. All right, we've already fallen very far from this high. So by the time we open gap down, we would have been down somewhere around 500 400 points already from this swing point without any break, right? So this will give a massive opportunity for some profit booking, which can happen below this low. So as soon as it breaks out, it will go into this demand as well, right? So it can give a sharp rejection till this hourly 50 EMA, which will shape up something like this if we gap down, right? So this is an entire scenario which can play out. So in this scenario, I won't do anything at all right, in Nifty for Monday and for the coming days as well, right? Now the second scenario is this demand zone Nifty. What happens is Nifty opens gap up, right? How can it open gap up? Because if you see, it closed right at this demand zone, and we also saw some bit of rejection right here. So Nifty might straight open somewhere here, and we might see a range bound day here, right? Now if this day happens, what I'll do is I'll start building short positions on puts. All right, I'll start building short positions on puts because why? Because you see, the first rejection, which is from this highest supply, is being countered by strong demand, and then we are sustaining here as well. So it means that the supply can be taken out as well. All right. So in this scenario, what I'll do is I'll start building short puts right here in this area right here, because these demand zones have started to hold, and I'll hold them till the coming weekly expiry, or if the structure doesn't change, right? If it starts breaking down, obviously I'll take a loss and I'll exit in that scenario. All right. So another thing is Nifty might open gap up above this supply, which is very less likely to happen. So I wouldn't really be talking about it. But if that happens, I would not do anything at all, because then we'll move on straight to this supply or this base right here. All right. So these are the few levels or few scenarios for Nifty, and how I will plan my trade in Nifty tomorrow. All right. So in Bank Nifty, if you see, it's Bank Nifty is noticeably a bit weaker than Nifty. All right. If you see in Nifty, this entire area was trading above the 50 EMA, and we were trading above all these highs in Nifty, right? But in Bank Nifty, if you see this, we aren't really trading above any high right now. All right, just a second. There's a lag in my internet. Just a second. All right, so in Bank Nifty, if you see, we aren't really trading above these highs at all, right? This is the previous high. We tried to break through it, and we immediately fell down. So Nifty is much stronger than Bank Nifty right now, right? So it means that instead of trading Bank Nifty, there are other sectors which are shaping up much better with respect to Nifty than Bank Nifty, right? Even though Bank Nifty is at a very strong base here, if you see, this is a nice rounding bottom base which always has more weightage to it than some continuation zones like this, right? So Bank Nifty is at a very strong area here. So if we open gap down into this demand zone right here, it will give us an opportunity to take along on the upside, and this is the only trade I'll plan in Bank Nifty. All right, if Bank Nifty opens gap up somewhere here, then I won't take a long in it, because it's considerably weaker than Nifty. All right, another sector which you need to keep in watch is the FMCG space. All right, FMCG sector, if you see all this period of underperformance has disappeared, right? It went down into this previous huge base which was made, and it started to break down. It went inside this base, but then it started holding this demand zone. All right, started holding this demand zone, and then we saw a very nice bit of a rally here, also aided a lot by ITC. But now that you see, it again pulled back to the 50 EMA, and again it's trying to stage a breakout. All right, so this is the demand zone on the FMCG sector on the daily chart, this doji right here, right? So keep a watch on the FMCG sector. If you see any sort of pullback, this is the hourly chart. If you see any sort of pullback and again a sideways base here, start buying FMCG stocks. Also, this should be accompanied by um, outperformance, by Nifty being stable as well. Of course, if Nifty is continuing to go down, then don't buy FMCG stocks. You shouldn't buy any stocks in that sort of scenario. All right. So another strong sector continuously is energy, but at this point, energy is so extended. I cannot really recommend any buying in energy anymore. All right. Anytime the underperformance might start, so I wouldn't really buy energy right now at all. All right. All the other sectors massively underperforming. IT has entered into a complete correction phase. I think we might come down to this demand maybe in IT, which is somewhere around 30,000, basically 30,000 level. All right. So IT is very weak. Nothing to do in IT as well. Metals as well, getting a bit weak. Still very strong, still in an uptrend, right? But we'll wait for it to test out this demand zone right here. All right. Something like this, and then we'll see if metals do anything or not. Nifty Pharma was strong, but again, you see after the fall back, right? It tried to break out, but again, it's rejecting, right? And this demand zone has been tested multiple times. So now, if it comes back down, it might start breaking down. So I wouldn't really trade Pharma as well. All right. Mostly it's FMCG, and Nifty itself is a bit strong, right? And Nifty is also very strong because of Reliance, which is Nifty Energy. All right. So Reliance has already gone up, so nothing in Reliance as well. So mostly it leaves the FMCG sector for us. I don't really like trading the FMCG stocks that much, but if an opportunity presents itself, I will definitely try to grab it. All right. So that is it for the market update video. Uh, if you're still sticking around, kindly make sure that you're sharing it and liking it as well. And you can ask any doubts in in the comments if you have them. All right. I'll see you guys tomorrow with another one.